Lama la Sunday, Lama the John Rinpoche the Target, you and not the Yavati muscle, wrongly lingo is a ghost on the made the Yava somebody, the Lamina Judicaso, the wrong Lama, you what the ditch is.
So, in this way, carry through the practice, supplication to the Guru, that and then not to think that the Guru is far away or just in a distance or just close. It is important to understand and to know that the Guru's body, speech, mind and one's body, speech, mind inseparable in its nature, and in that way, if one do the supplication prayer, then one can receive the blessing.
But then let me do me a medal. Do you soon just on the tongue to don't ye may say, or tell and one again. My chiba sent you not to Raman the Mascaraji. You want my yacht.
So that the true nature of the glorious Guru, the enlightened body, speech, mind, which is the contents nature of all the Buddhas, and then one's true nature of mind being mingled together, and then without contriving or fabricating anything, and not conceptualizing, and then try to abide in the relaxed true nature mind.
Chende chiso tone mege lame java jubra jo je jewa nane nanje dore zalo majame inje je lama lagene bade lame danje lane jo jewa gando ya lama dame je Sanalami yanarado ne barjalami komanyudo jo.
Okay. Do Papa Tongogi, that's a Shambangombo, Drubaris.
Then in India, long time back, that there is the Asanga who just try to meditate and visualize the Maitreya Buddha.
Lostomlet Nisen Mayer Bashi Drubnombaris. In a thoughts on the mathematics.
So he carried through practice for continuously days and night for 3 years, but still could not have any sign.
Then Tandusa Marisa Yasha the young Jitemba Khenchen land of Chigi, Jitembi Shawl and Nedikanga taking the net Drubat. They are the two tumors on the young master beverage.
So then he thought maybe he is not going to accomplish this practice, and then he gave up, and then he came down into valley, and then where he saw this the worldly people working so hard with their just a worldly job, and then he realized that for ordinary work, they are spending so much time, and my time for the practice is maybe not enough, and then he went back again. Then again he continued to meditate for another 3 years, but still nothing happened and not even a sign. Then he thought maybe he's not going to accomplish with this, and then he left the retreat place and went into the town. And then in that town there is of course a king, and then with all his people they were just trying to knock down a kind of hill. So then when that Asanga asked, what you guys are doing, so then they said, well, just there is a house, and then this mountain always kind of, obscured the sun, just directly come there, so that is why we try to get rid of it. So then he thought, just for a very simple benefit, these worldly peoples are, working so hard with so much perseverance. Then compared to that, my practice and my diligence is not enough. So that is why again he went back to retreat. Then again he continuously do for another 3 years doing the meditation practice, but again nothing happened, not even a good sign. So in that way he just did the practice for 12 years. But still there is no any sign. Then at the end he just almost lost all the hope, so then again he went down in the town. So then as he walked down, and then on the way he saw a doggy just almost dead. Then the lower part of her body is just all kind of rotten and with the maggots, and then still the upper part kind of barking to him. So then as he saw that doggy, then he gave rise to so much compassion, just immeasurable compassion, just thinking how he can just help to get that maggot and suffering. And then he got into that, he thought if he used his hand, maybe he squeezed just those insects. So that is why he just tried to pick up with his tongue. So he could not just do it with his open eyes, because it is really disgusting and a very stingy smell. So then he closed his eye and then just tried to take out with his tongue. So as he closed his eye and then with his tongue tried to just touch the doggy's body, then finally he could not just touch with the doggy form, but then touch on the ground. And then he was wondering what happened to it, and then opened his eyes, and then he saw Maitreya Buddha with all these rainbow colors. So then Asanga said, well, you are just not so compassionate and not kind enough that I've been doing practice for 12 years and you never show up, and also not even a good sign.
Gyatso Shamagam Besone, Cheron letter to Jeremato, Cheron Toma to the Nanyambo, Ledon Rame.
So Maitri Buddha said that, well, it is not really just my fault. It is because of your so much obscuration that you could not see me. In reality, I'm just there the moment you thought to do this practice.
Rangitai Lama Guru Rinpoche,
Ledon Trima into Ye Paris, so Tanizon, Ye Paris.
So similar like that, one's root teacher, Guru Padmasambhava, these are always with oneself, that there is no any separation.
I think Guru Rinpoche, some mandates, Giba Meng and Sunday, Tungche, the younger than Maris.
So as we do this supplication prayer and practice, maybe it seems like kind of boring or sometimes tired, not to think in that way.
Kadi Yena Jong Laminanjur Don Sunday, Khenchen Morris.
So all the time it is very important to do this supplication prayer, the Guru Yoga.
Nyingma non Sai Lama Guru Rinpoche, only Shivani Kyasoni, and Sunday Shajiris.
In the daytime, that one just visualize one's root teacher on the above of one's head and then do the supplication prayer. And then in the night, when we go to sleep, then the Guru just get insight through one's heart, and then concentrate your mind there, and then just go to sleep. So in that way, concentrating on the Guru Padmasambhava, and then one can sleep. Then in the morning, just moment one wake up and get up, then one think that that Guru just comes out of your body and rested on the crown of your head, and then just do the supplication prayer in the day lifetime. Whatever that activities you need to do can be fulfill all your wishes, and without getting any kind of afflictive emotions. All the phenomena or the dharmas are everything accomplished by our mind. So that is why it is important that need to have a very stable mind and very relaxed mind, not to giving rise to all sorts of emotions and thoughts. So if our mind give rise to all sorts of thoughts, then of course according to that there are all these disturbance and activities also can happen. So once on a time there is just one prince and just going out for like a kind of begging, and then knocking these ministers, and then another just a guy just going out for a begging. So then the beggar's son, that where he went at just a temple, and then he just came there too early, so he could not get any food, and then because of that he was very angry. And then the king's son, that as he went there, it is the right time for their lunch, so he got lots of food. So he was very happy. So then that king's son and then the beggar's son, somehow they met again somewhere, and then they were talking, and then the beggar's son, because he didn't get any food, so he was angry, and he said, if I have power, I would cut the heads of all these monks. So then the king's son, that he said, in case if I have some power, that I would make lots of offerings to them and do all the just pujas. So in that way, how their kind of intentions and the thoughts are according to that. One time that the beggar's son just lying on a road and sleeping there, and then suddenly a kind of chariot that came and that ran over his neck, and he just killed there.
나도 힌지 드마트 야네 코 년데 니송레 테네 요르나 자르보 존네 자르보 메네 미스타놈 쳔보지 수야나 자르보 그그르세 요지 람보토지지 세도게르세 대시디 좀비 자르비보 힌두견네 년데메데 시도레사데 힌두견도 바 요르사데 디 자르비보게네 힌두데네 뉴여레 Then Sanam Chamorend is just good. The Koron Devanongi and get them back on the Chevapuya of the Chumba.
So then the king's son, he just wandered around, and then he got some place, and then in the daytime he just feels sleepy, so he lied down under the tree's shade. And then that country, that their king just died. So then all the ministers were looking for a very meritorious and virtuous, person, and looking around, that thinking that we need to have a just king. And then those ministers somehow just arrived there. And they saw that boy which is lying under the tree shade. Actually, that whole rest of all other tree shades are just got just they change their direction, because it is already afternoon, but his shade is still on him. So then they thought, this must be something special and meritorious. And then they brought him back to the palace and enthroned as a king. And then at the same time, he got all his, power, and then he did all the offerings and respect to the, Sangha and so forth. So similar like that, there are so many kind of, true stories. So in that way, how much all sorts of emotions and thoughts we give rise to it, according to that certain kind of action, the karma also just happens. So that is why in all aspect and all the time that not to give rise to all sorts of different kinds of thoughts or conceptualization. Instead of that, try to relax one's mind and try to, just stabilize one's mind, and then, carry through the practice properly with the devotion. Then, of course, there will be some benefit and one can gain some quality.
Thank you.
되게 높은 것.